So, I wasn't exactly expecting to make a video this early, considering that not all the running for today is done yet at Sebring. And when I heard that there was some type of big announcement going on in the middle of the day, I assumed it was just some type of, something. I don't know. I assumed I could just probably throw whatever it was into the video I'm going to be doing later on and have a section about it, talk about that, whatever. That's not the case. Because it was announced today that Hendrick Motorsports and NASCAR are going to be taking a next-gen Cup car to Le Mans in 2023 and running it as a Garage 56 entry. Yeah, that's real. It's a really crazy idea. So basically, here's the details of it. They're going to be, basically they're just going to be taking a Cup car to Le Mans and running it. They haven't really given a lot of details, like big, details about, the car or whatever right now. I don't think they've started working on anything. It's not like they've built a car that, they're going to go start testing right now or something. They've pretty much just announced that the entry exists and is going to happen. And even the entry exists is a bit not exactly true, because the entries for 2023 haven't been, decided on yet. That's all stuff that'll happen next January. So technically, it's not official yet, but considering that this was a joint announcement between NASCAR, IMSA, and the WEC. They had the WEC president, I believe it is there. It's going to be the case that the Hendrick Cup car is going to run in a Garage 56 entry. Now, the question is really the details around it. What's the car going to look like? How close to a Cup car is it going to be? Are they just going to straight up bring a Cup car out there and run it? Who's going to drive? And to answer one of those questions, they're not just going to be taking a straight up Cup car and running it at Le Mans. They're going to be making quite a few modifications to it, presumably. They're going to have to at least put headlights on it. Obviously, it's Le Mans. You can't just run with no headlights. But my guess is surely they're also going to be, turn off my iPad, they're going to be making some type of adjustments to it, considering that it's not under NASCAR rules or anything. They're going to be stripping ballast out of the car, doing tons of stuff to make it faster, taking, tapered spacers off the engine or whatever, they have right now, just to make it run as fast as possible. But other things they might also be doing that are actually some more kind of interesting technical things. It's kind of been a history of Garage 56 recently that they end up running hybrids in Garage 56, which is actually a thing that might be a possible thing for the new Cup car, to be kind of an innovative thing, which is the point of Garage 56. Adding a hybrid system onto a Cup car would be a super innovative thing. And considering that the next-gen Cup car itself isn't a very big innovative thing, I assume they're probably going to want something that's, hey, this is a big differentiating thing from just, bringing a Cup car out here with, some minor changes. I assume that there's going to be something, and I think the most logical thing, which is a thing that NASCAR's talked about possibly doing for more things in the future, is having a hybrid car. So that might be a thing. That's not in any way confirmed. This is all just stuff I've heard from other people. A lot of what I've heard from this video is actually, or what I've heard is from videos that guys like David Land have made about the topic. So it's kind of, yeah, but there's a lot of my own speculation in here as well. I don't know. My guess is that the car isn't going to be super fast. First of all, it's a Garage 56 entry, so it's not going to be classified. So you're not going to end up with, Hendrick, beating out the GTE class winners or something. This car is probably going to be quite slow, and I think Rick Hendrick has basically said his goal is to not finish last. But I think the main thing about it is that it's not going to look like a normal Cup car. When you get there, there's going to be a ton of different things about it that make it look very different from just a cup car that runs every week, because first of all, there's no rules about it, and second of all, they're trying to do something to kind of spice it up, make it a new-ish car. I wouldn't be surprised if they run the same chassis to make it still a cup car instead of modifying the chassis or anything, but I would also not at all be surprised if it doesn't look very much like a NASCAR Cup car by the time it gets to Le Mans. There's probably also going to be a lot of testing done on this, so the first thing they bring out to the track is probably not going to be what runs at Le Mans, but yeah, there's going to be probably a lot of innovation and changes that they're going to be making to this car to make it probably somewhere maybe a little bit slower than a GTE. But I think that in itself is pretty cool, that they're going to be trying to get a cup car to be almost as faster on Le Mans as a GTE. And I think that's really cool, and I honestly want to see that. But really, the main thing that makes it so that it has to be like that is the way the cup cars work. I've driven... After I had seen that this came out, I went out and drove a couple of laps on iRacing with the Cup car at Le Mans, and it's interesting. There is obviously a lot more braking. The car is a lot looser. You're going to have to be general NASCAR road course stuff. But it's funny, I had to really adjust my braking points. I had to brake, in the Mulsanne chicanes, it was twice... I had to be braking twice as early as I normally would, if not more, to make sure I could get slowed down in enough time for the corner. And I was going extremely slow through those corners. And at the top speed of the straightaways, I was like 200 almost, a little bit above that. So like almost hypercar speed down the straightaways, and like not barely rolling, but like just really like trying to navigate myself through the Mulsanne chicanes. So stuff like that I don't think is going to work, so obviously changes are going to be made. A couple of other main questions as really kind of the more team aspect of it. Who's going to be driving this car? Nothing's been announced, obviously. This is something more than a year in advance, but a couple of names kind of spring to mind. First up, Chase Elliott. Obviously is kind of Hendrick's road course ringer, and maybe... and I'll talk about some of the more details to that possibly working out in a minute. Another possible driver for that team could be Jimmy Johnson. He's not super closely affiliated with it. Well, he's kind of closely affiliated with Hendrick. He's not at Hendrick anymore, but he's gotten much closer to that Le Mans scene in the past couple of, in the past year or so. He's done the 24 Hours of Daytona and done a couple of other sports car races. I think it's a possibility that you could see Jimmy in that car as well. Maybe there's some other Cup driver wanting to run for that team. Probably someone from somewhere else as well. So obviously you'd have 3 drivers in that car. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them is a Hendrick driver. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them is someone else kind of affiliated with Hendrick, maybe doing someone like a Jimmy Johnson that's done something with Hendrick in the past but has gotten closer to that scene recently, and then probably someone else from somewhere, more closer to sports cars and stuff like that would be much more knowledgeable about just the general Le Mans atmosphere that could help them out with that, I guess. And this is all very speculative. I'm just making this stuff up almost off the top of my head. The only other question, really, to getting someone like Chase Elliott to be able to drive for this, is NASCAR going to make a break in their schedule, like a week off in their schedule or whatever, to run Le Mans, which I don't exactly know. It's a very interesting question, because it seems like it's a very weird thing for NASCAR to do, to take a week off so that one team can go run a race off in Europe. But considering how much NASCAR is involved in this, the NASCAR guys were like the NASCAR head office guys were like at the announcement or whatever. So clearly they're involved in this. This isn't just a Hendrick thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if you end up seeing a 1 week break in the schedule for Hendrick to go run Le Mans. And maybe some other drivers could go do something else at Le Mans. There's not a lot of NASCAR guys that are doing much at Le Mans, but I mean, there's a couple that have done stuff at Daytona. I mean, there's quite a few NASCAR drivers that have actually done stuff at Daytona. So maybe if you get a break in the schedule, you could see a couple of other NASCAR drivers going over to France to run the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and that could be very interesting. But that is about all I have for this pretty groundbreaking news topic for the first time since, so it's for the first time since 1976 that a Cup car has run at Le Mans, and it might end up being the first time ever that a NASCAR Cup car has finished Le Mans, if they do end up finishing the race. So, pretty crazy news announcement today. I'll be back later on today with just some, general stuff about the actual on-track running in the day, just as I've been doing for the last week of racing. So that'll be out later on today or maybe tomorrow because practice ends a little late, and I don't know if I'll be able to get that video out in time, but I'll try my best. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you guys all then. Bye.